So this is called The Time You Get is the Time You Get by Lara. And I read this in Honolulu a couple weeks ago to an audience of people who thoroughly enjoyed it. Resolution. Stop making friends with people just because you feel sorry for them. Like drinking beer in the summer because you're hot and thirsty. This practice will eventually turn on you, producing the opposite of the desired effect, the chronically pathetic, much like animals and small children are so keenly aware of insincerity that they can almost actually smell it. And just like the animals and small children, they will put up with you just long enough to get the meat or candy or approval before they bite or scream for the cops, just as you're about to hustle them into the carrier or the wood-paneled van. Resolution. Start keeping an enemies list. It'll help on those nights when forgiveness comes creeping in, like a grandmother who washed your mouth out with soap and then sent you to bed without supper, but still wants to tuck you in and kiss your tiny forehead as you pretend to sleep. Beware. Comfort is a sucker's game for grown-up babies who don't know how to be brave at bus stops, and forgiving is a comfort. Resolution. Live less lonely than my mother. This one is easy. I may as well resolve to be less schizophrenic than Joan of Arc. All this requires are simple things, like never substituting thank you notes for heartfelt conversation, or social networking websites for a circle of friends. Confession. I left my bike chained to your fence in Eagle Rock so I would never have to talk to you again. Confession. I didn't apologize for slapping that girl you liked so I would never have to talk to you again. Confession. I told your fiance that you were seeing your ex behind his back so I would never have to talk to you again. Little known fact. Those bisexual for attention girls aren't always bisexual for attention. Even when they're sometimes not exactly what you would call gay. It's just the urge to hold on can be so strong that it turns the urge to dive in. She mistakes tongue kisses for thank you notes, and the warm press of flesh for heartfelt conversation. We all make these slight miscalculations. Whatever. It's the spiritually broke man's ohm. We can all know peace like a coma, and regret that's as pure as the ocean-washed stone. We can forgive in the dark under blankets that smell of mentholatum and ancient vitamins. We can cradle warm memories like a sickly kitten and bite the sharp ones back. Treasure every unkind word ever never said. The time you get is the time you get. Lara Ka'apuni, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
This is Lara's poem, Sacramento Zoological Society. I really like this poem. It's pretty dope. We're having one of those wine and jazzy hip-hop nights, and my husband dances by himself because our house guests know, though they don't know about Project Blowed. It's kind of an open secret that all unfamiliar hip-hop sounds a bit suspect to white kids if it's being introduced to them by other white kids. We're drinking Red Box wine out of tiny glasses claiming in frosted white letters to represent the Sacramento Zoological Society. I believe them. They were left on a lawn by ex-next door neighbors. Two elderly sisters who decided they no longer wanted stairs or excess memorabilia in their lives. I thought I might someday have a need for 12 wine glasses with something quirky on them. We're joking about having dinner parties full of improvised zoological conversations. I try to convince everyone that saber-toothed tigers never existed. That scientists just like the idea of saber-toothed tigers and carefully fitted dinosaur teeth into regular tiger skulls. Our sociability has volume. We can make all the noise, turn the stereo up as loud as we want. There are no downstairs neighbors. I must remember to remind myself when we walk hard on wood floors, slam doors unintentionally, the house is a house. Double paned windows, good insulation, room for a front lawn if that were something I knew how to do. My natural habitat is the apartment. Family of 4 downstairs, single mom and baby and senile grandmother to the left, collection of stone cousins, catty corner, painted metal balconies with spectacular views of other painted metal balconies, steady sonic patchworks of multiple unidentified base cakes. Here, the ambulances turn off their sirens when they drive down the street. All this privacy makes me lonely. I'm pacing this house like a tiger moved from a zoo to a wild animal park. I miss the concrete moat and reliable iron bars. I'm more afraid of my cage now that I can no longer see it.
Because they already fill a whole box, the packing tape from the last move's cut. But don't think that I was brave enough to look through every single one. Some of the covers are enough to make the burial instinct kick in. Find old homework assignments, paperbacks with penciled-in $2 price tags, anything to wall them up like some old begrudged traitor, a love child to ruin a political career. Because the grocery and to-do lists, the drunken diagrams of unfulfilled plans, those were enough to peg this as a coping mechanism. There was this one time when I went to the store and bought nothing but whiskey and adult diapers. True story. Don't worry, one of them wasn't for me. There were these few dozen times on public transit and sidewalks when the maniac's monologue seemed more evocative than anything I've ever come up with. It's unsettling to hear a not yet slurred voice with that stink of guarana malt liquor and bullet cans on 10:30 a.m. on Tuesday, when it clearly enunciates a Bible verse, almost always from Romans, declares that we just want to go back to our submarines, repeating a refrain, above and beyond the call of normality, above and beyond the call of normality. Dude, I have no idea what that means, but I'll steal it anyway. Because I say and think things that make no sense at all. Some half-understood science, some observational humor taken far too seriously. Some of that old schoolgirl journaling, taking a battered squeegee to my own Jahari window. My sanity depends on knowing metaphors are metaphors, so I collect them like a taxidermist terrified of death, like a celibate porn aficionado, like an agoraphobic flash mob choreographer. I also collect similes. So here's my advice for the maniacs. Stop torturing the numbers. Stop sacrificing the good for the perfect, the necessary for the good. This is the strained muscle in a giraffe's neck. This is an epic in a supermarket receipt. It is fleeting for all the right reasons.
He has hair the color of dirt and eyes like laughing sapphires in a web of ruby veins. His scarred and hardened hands look large and awkward on his arms, and his smile is golden from the nicotine stains. He has feet that stink like 10 different death scenarios and an ancient scar from a giant zit he once popped on his nose. A gut from too many six-packs. He's a dick trapped in the body of an asshole. Deriding his own desire to deliver manifestos, a dirty demagogue in writing, a work waiting to be written, and I am smitten. I dissolved like Purina canned kitten food for senior citizen dinner fare. I melted like arts and crafts candles, uneven and sputtering, wax popping like illegal fireworks, exploding like the lazy last days in August, inappropriate like babies in bordellos, or possibly at this memorial. And did I tell you that when we first kissed, the taste of dead skin on his chapped lips made my knees turn to jello? The kind of sugary sweet wobble that can only be made from pig's feet. the kind of light that can only be seen in total darkness, the kind of love only sold on the black market. A feeling fallen off a big rig speeding down deserted highways, cooked up in a valley bathtub, concealed in transient trench coats, the promise of a bargain with the refusal of a guarantee. Isn't that all there ever is for kids like you and me? We are experts at reckless endangerment and half-cocked bad decisions, staring across a cigarette, stifling looks of recognition, scared of scars and secrets that the mirrors fear reflecting because Kurt and Courtney, Sid and Nancy don't get happy endings. So I'll read this chapter backwards and I'll ride off into a sunrise. So this narrative's never over, and even when metaphors swell to storylines, and I'll keep our story safe inside a landfill lined with plastic, where we can share a smile, the scent of sulfur matchsticks. We have a love, the color of dirt.
The chef and I talk through our thumbs. We talk down the California coast through the miles of drought-dried farmland, in waiting rooms and living rooms, and rooms that aren't rooms, like buses and outside, over comped meals and end-of-shift beers and end-of-semester shots, over cable TV movies and internet cat videos. The chef and I know each other back before we were ourselves. When he wanted to be a chef and I wanted to be a writer, years and loans later, he's cooking for strangers, and my words are read by people I'll never meet. Still, the chef's got me beat, because people will always pay for food. He watches the diner's smiles, and I read professors' comments, and we feel like fucking magicians, like con artists, tricksters. We're psychosis twins, I thumb into the number pad. The chef and I talk through our thumbs down the center of the state, through Stockton, Fresno, Bakersfield, all the towns where kids sport impractical boots and dye their hair with Kool-Aid, all the towns where kids stain their wrists with cheap spiked leather bracelets and go looking for the devil because God's become unfriendly. In my house, we called God justice. In his, they called it family. Some people fly across the country to escape their God. Others read books and books and books so they can learn to better compose fresh blasphemies. In my house, we called the devil selfishness. In his, they called it solitude. The chef is one of 4 people I know who has a 666 tattoo. I wear a different devil in my skin. The chef and I talk through our thumbs as he half watches Magnolia and I half read Lullaby. He worries that he has the same problem as Quiz Kid Donnie Smith, knowing where to put his love. I put my extra love in notebooks. He buzzes back. I put my extra love in food. I respond. I heard you can get in trouble with the health department for that. And when he taps an LOL back to me, I believe him, because we both know where our love goes. Thank you.
Know what you don't want. Stiletto heels and belly fat, food additives or irregular garden vegetables, accidental mulch, jagged eyeliner, the lined face in the mirror, breakfast with southwestern flair, panda-themed everything. A brave face for personal tragedy, a clean, vague bubble with built-in safety seats. Know what you don't want. I know it more all the time. A raft of vegetation, rivers between continental drift, myriad monkey words for snake. Status and canopy, I'm getting nervous. The strange face in a forest, intermittent madness from selected months. Raw-cradled soft skull, pounding shell against stream. Know what you don't want. I know it more all the time. muscle memory and memes, sailboats and ghosts with office training, smooth skin over eye orbits, static, the vectored face in the screen, single-click shopping, a virtual pet, a virtuous plan, articles, skip read, a thin sliced fusion of bone. Know what you don't want, fistfuls of stolen flour. Know what you don't want, a floral novelty doorknob. Know what you don't want, blue squares etched in vision ever diminishing. I know it more all the time. Thank you.
I'm sure that when Rivers Cuomo wrote, "My name is Jonas," he wasn't thinking about combination fried rice and Thai iced tea. But to me, those guitars crunch like fried wontons. Paper boxes pass back and forth on a swing set in the Southern Cali midnight. I hear the smell of sandbox straight from my high school innocence when I truly believed that the most decadent thing I'd ever do was eat Chinese takeout in a deserted park 2 hours past curfew with my best friend. His name was Jonah, and we rocked Weezer nightly in a series of shitty hatchbacks from Herman, the brown Toyota whose sagging sealant fabric would fuck up everyone's hair till we got fed up and staple gunned that shit to the roof, to Ruby, the red Ford Fiesta that he was in the night he got hit by a drunken Australian driving on the wrong side of the road. I got the phone call in Venice. Bob Marley was never soothing again. I fucking love that line. I never asked him what he was listening to that night. If Third Eye Blind or Radiohead will always taste like blood, bile, and metal, the way Weezer tastes like sweet and sour, smells like sand and cigarettes, stings like the first smack of night air, the silent vibration of screen doors closed very, very quietly. The swell of Surf Wax America turned all the fucking way up as soon as we rounded the corner, a soundtrack perfect for two nerdy heartbreak junkies rushing off into the great anywhere but home to crack open fortune cookie wishes and wait for boys who look just like Buddy Holly and for girls who will laugh for no one else, but somehow never thinking to take out that adolescent violence on each other. If we had to, the songs would smell completely different.
Meet me 4,000 years from today. I will be the one in the corner with the cryogenically frozen rose in my hair. You will walk across the room, careful not to push any Klingons, and settle beside me at the bar. You will start to order, probably a thick Romulan ale from the looks of you, but I drink like an intergalactic mercenary lining up my drinks like a hit list, so I'll tell you, don't bother, you can have one of mine. Meet me 40,000 years ago today. By the fire that illuminates the walls of the cave, we will never mistake the shadow for reality. We will only prefer the dance to the solid march of meat parading just before the mouth of our sanctuary. You will be the first man to char a leg of woolly mammoth into the fire. I will be the first woman to show you that a blow with your club has never been necessary. Together, we will invent the gods that will only demand the blood of livestock. We will make the world more just and less pure. In this bar that overlooks the Horsehead Nebula, this drink in my hand is a nod to the club in yours. This rose in my hair is not nearly as cold as it looks. It is not even as cold as it is. Meet me, 4 dimensions away. The yin in me will mistake you for the yin, as you mistake yourself for the yang. We will court symbolically. You will be the heavens, I will be the earth. I will tell you, that is complete bullshit. You will be the speech of Zarathustra. I will be the life of Alice B. Talkless. We will both be wankers. You will be the serpent, I will be the tail. Eat me. Meet me now, at home. Take your shoes off. Kiss me like you are used to kissing me. Curl into these arms that you know are already open. Yes, I am indeed your girl. And yes, I've saved you a beer.
What will I miss about cancer? Warm blankets. Every single doctor's office had an oven full of blankets at the ready, and gangs of nurses ready to descend upon the slightest hint of cold, wrapping us up like presents or babies in repeatedly bleached, folded, scratchy, toasted blankets to approximate the lofty, unachievable goal of comfort. What will I miss about cancer? Permission to waste food without impunity. To the point where I have been congratulated for eating half a cup of yogurt. My every slightest whim indulged. My husband rushing out to get me anything I think I might possibly be able to eat. What won't I miss? And sure, that shit is disgusting. What won't I miss? Staring down the scale every 0.5 pound loss, screaming, "You're failing!" This is the one thing we can all agree Western women can do: get fat. I have nothing to do but count calories in the opposite direction, and the doctors say, "I know you aren't doing this on purpose." Well, thank the high holy hell out of you for that. At least, how I've been waiting. You know, I swore when it was over I would never just take the good-natured jabs about my lucky, skinny ass from all the ladies who love to hate their weight. I do, though. I still take it. I don't say shit, though I'd rather be fat than dead. I think I'd rather be fat than feel my bones press through my flesh on the radiation table and see my bones peek through my skin like knives through a canvas tent in a horror film, and know my bones like you know a mother, sustaining and recognizable, and know my bones like you know a child, so carefully watched as the breath rises, as the breath falls, as you wash delicate skin with unscented soap, in some parts with aloe and some parts with alcohol. What I won't miss, being called a strong woman. What I will miss, all that time to read. You know what they say about foxholes? It's true, because I remember begging. You know what they say about foxholes? It's not true, because I don't remember God. But there was a part where I couldn't give a shit about science or words, art or ambition, religion or death. And love was only sleep. And love was only sleep in my husband's hands. And love was only sleep in my husband's hands and chicken soup. And love was only sleep in my husband's hands and chicken soup and my cat's voice. And love was only sleep in my husband's hands and chicken soup and my cat's voice and my mother-in-law arguing with nurses. And then I woke up.